Hey, everybody, welcome to the episode. What we're going to be doing is continuing with the quarterly strategic plan reviews that I promised at the beginning of the year. Now, if you haven't had a chance to go back and listen to the quarter one review and the quarter two review, you should do that as well. We're in the Q3 review, and really, if you're in this process now and you're listening to this episode, you can just listen to this episode and pick up the rest as they come along. You don't have to go back and listen to number one and number two. What I'm talking about here is really more the discipline of stopping in your business once every 3 months, just to look at what your plan is, because you've got a plan, right? Have that plan on paper and then work to that plan. Right. I was talking to my trainer today and he said, all of us are a reflection of our goals and priorities. I don't know what he was implying, but he said it to me. And it probably applies to you as well. You are a reflection of your goals and priorities. And that made me think on the drive in that if I'm not getting the results I want, maybe I don't have the right goals and priorities, or maybe I just don't have the right tools. So if you're looking for more business tools, this is one of them. Having a plan is just like having a set of blueprints, having a set of drawings, having an elevation. It's just there on paper. It's something to refer back to. It's something anybody could look at and make sense of. And it's something that you can then build to and say, hey, did we hit the mark? Did we do what we need to do? So all that being said, if you ever find yourself stuck, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. But right now, let's look at our Q3 review. And today, what we're going to be talking about is our marketing strategy and then our 3-year plan. Our marketing strategy and our 3-year plan. Now, I use a system for this. The system is called EOS, the Entrepreneur Operating System. It comes from a book called Traction, written by a guy named Gino Wickman. Some of you already use that system. If you don't, I'm an expert in it, and I'm going to give you the inside scoop on that. I also want to point out that EOS came from something else. You know how something always came from something else? Well, we need to give a nod to Vern Harnish and his system called Mastering the Rockefeller Habits, which got rewritten into Traction. Traction exclamation mark. It's also an excellent book and system. They both work. I'm using the EOS system because I think it's a little more approachable for the kinds of businesses we run here in construction. So let's talk a little bit about our marketing strategy. And I want to break out our marketing strategy into some very, very simple components. As a business coach and a business owner, entrepreneur myself, I really work hard at being dead simple. And so if you can take notes, please do. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I want you to write down for this section under marketing. If you've got questions about your marketing, you're going to want to answer these questions for yourself. If you're not sure if you have questions about marketing, let me ask you this. Are you dealing with the perfect client? Grade A clients who pay a premium, who don't complain about price, who are always ready to go when they say they're ready to go, who are thrilled with what we produce and leave wonderful reviews and referrals anywhere they can, and then refer their friends any chance they get. If you don't have that happening, then you, my friend, are still trying to figure out your ideal client. And so these 5 things are really going to help. So let's talk about our quarterly review. And at today's quarterly review, take a really good look at the kinds of clients we deal with. And we're going to deal with the clients from these 5 categories. Okay. Budget. What kind of budget do people have? What's their need? Why do they need what we do, what we make, what we install, what we repair, what we fix, etc. Timing. What kind of timing issues does our perfect customer have? And then relationship. How do people know us? What do they think of us? What kind of trust breadcrumbs do they see in the market that say, hey, Dom's painting company is excellent. Rubino's roofing and refinishing is fantastic. Charlie's cabinets is the only place to go. Where are they getting that relationship from? And then the other point, number 5 here, is technical. And so technical changes for every industry. It actually changes for every market and even the vertical that you're in. But what are the technical questions that people come to you with? It might be technical in terms of the kind of wood you use. It might be technical in terms of the kind of equipment you use. It might be technical in terms of the products or services. So an example for products and services are you using latex-based paint? Is it eco-friendly? Are you using water-based? All of those, that's a technical question, right? So now we need to think about our ideal customer from that angle, right? What's their budget? So what's the ideal job size for you? Is your perfect job size $10,000? We had one of our listeners here, and I want to say hi to KT. KT thought his perfect job size was a $10,000 reno. And then he realized he wasn't making money at the $10,000 reno level. And through listening to the show and reaching out to me and having side phone calls, we got him aligned a little bit differently. And now his perfect reno is in the $25,000 to $30,000 range. I want to point out, he's the same guy. He's driving the same truck. He's got the same tools. We just changed who he went after as his perfect client. And just by that one little exercise, he was able to go from $9,000 and $10,000 jobs to $20,000 and $25,000 jobs. Now, if you're listening to me going, Dom, that sounds bonkers. How could that ever happen? People are already giving me a hard time at $10,000. It's because you're talking to the wrong people. You see how it's a big circle here, right? You're talking to the wrong people. You don't have your ideal client, people who want what you've got to sell, want to pay a fair price. They want you to build, make, or do what your company is good at building, making, or doing, right? All those things have to line up. And if they don't line up, guess what, my friend? It's your company. You go change it. You go line up with the right kind of customers. Don't accept that anybody calling you is the perfect customer. They're probably not. You probably have to have a little bit of a filter here. So anyways, budget is an important one. What's the perfect size kitchen for you? What's the perfect size roof for you? What's the perfect size land redevelopment project? We all have a sweet spot in that revenue range. You need to stay in that. The next one is need. Why the heck do they need you? Let's use kitchen cabinets as an example. I understand you want a set of kitchen cabinets, but why? What's driving that need? Oh, it's a new house? Okay, I get that. Oh, you're renovating the basement? Okay. Why? Why are you renovating the basement now? I want to find out why. You see, when I'm talking to a customer who says, yeah, we're thinking about renovating our basement, that's one kind of deal. Oh, yeah, we can do the plans. I can help you. I can draw. I can do lots of free work for you. No problem. But why would I do that? It would be better for me to ask a whole bunch of questions to understand why. Well, your house was built in the year 2000. That's 23 years ago. It's actually when I started business coaching. Your house was built in 2000. You want to do a basement renovation now. Do you mind if I ask why? And they're going to look at you and go, that's a good question. My mother-in-law is about to move in. Oh, okay. Now we've got some heat and we have a fire and potentially some smoke. What does that mean that your mother-in-law is moving in? Well, she's very particular. I'll bet you she is. So what is she expecting out of this basement suite? And now you can start to draw out the need with that customer and the budget that needs to line up with impressing this person's mother-in-law, right? That's very different than, yeah, we're thinking about renovating the basement. We're not sure. We're not committed. Okay, well, that's not a great prospect. A great prospect is somebody who has a definite need. So why does somebody need what you have to sell? And why are you the perfect company to identify that need? Now, let me stop for a second. If you're not taking notes, well, first, I understand if you're walking the dog or if you're on an airplane or, I don't know, doing something driving and you can't take notes. I get that. But no matter what, as you're listening to this episode, please take away at least one nugget, one thing to think about, one action to take, because that's what this show is about. The show's about taking action. I do not like theory. I'm all about reality. I'm a business coach and I could use fancy language if we needed to, but we don't need to. Why not just talk about what it is? When you're talking about business strategy, talking about it's one thing, doing something about it is another. And so if you find yourself in this conversation realizing, hey, I've got the wrong kind of customer, then I'm going to come back to you and say, now what action are you going to take based on that realization? Or are you just going to go, yeah, wow, I guess I do have the wrong kind of customer. I wonder what the next episode is going to talk about. Don't do that. Go take an action. Just take one action. I have two different podcasts. Let's just say you listen to the podcast once a month, just once a month. But every time you listen, you take one small action. Well, that means that at the end of this year, you will have taken 12 small actions. 12. That's it. One a month. You'll have made 12 tiny changes in your business. And you might think at the end of the year, 12 changes isn't all that much, but think about moving a chess piece 12 times. Think about hitting a nail with a hammer 12 times. Even if you just tap it, it's going to move, right? Think about turning a wrench 12 times. Every time you do that, it tightens up a little bit more. And that's what I want you to do in your business. So no matter what, listening to this episode, something I say is going to trigger a pain point, a need, a bottleneck, a concern that you've got. Take action on that concern. It's up to you. It's your company. You get to do it. You get to do it, or you get to ignore it. I want you to take action. You think you can do that? All right. So far, we've hit budget and we've hit need. The next one I want to understand about my perfect customer is timing. I want to understand time. I want to understand why now. Why is time important? Let's talk about those of you who respond to commercial bids. Why is time important for a general contractor who's trying to push us to get a price? I want to know if the job's just about to come up or if it's a project they're only speculating getting maybe in a year and a half. So time is an important factor. And by the way, time will also impact price. As we know, with material price increases or just availability right now, things can get very crazy and very, very hairy, like Sasquatch hairy. And so timing becomes a very important aspect of understanding our ideal client. If you're growing your business, you need to find customers who are ready and willing to sign a contract now. Or if you're talking to them today, they're willing to sign a contract in the next 30 days, maybe 60 days. But anybody who's further out than that needs to be a lower priority because it's not a good use of your time. So we think about your priorities. Time is a major factor. So let me stop there. So far, we've talked about your perfect customer, looking at who your perfect job is. If you make fences, if you do kitchen cabinets, if you do roofing, if you do HVAC, if you paint homes, concrete, stamped concrete, mason, doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. This is the business of the construction business. I want you to think about your perfect customer. And I want you to look through the lens of budget, how much money do they have to spend? Need, why do they need what we're doing? Timing, why now? And then the next one is relationship, why me? How do they know me? How have they seen me out in the market? Maybe now is the time for you to go and enter into a bunch of those local contests. One of the people I deal with here, I'm going to say hi to Alan, won't say his last name. He asked me to nominate him or to vote for him in the best of Allen County where he lives. He does not live in Allen County. That's all I'm going to say. Well, what happens when he goes through that exercise of being nominated best in the county? Is it a game changer? No. Is it hard to do? Not really. It takes some time, but what it allows him to do for the rest of the year and probably for a very long time after that is to say, hey, the community has recognized me as the best provider in this category. And so that's a relationship builder. It's one little thing, but when you do a bunch of those little things, like you apply for the best employer contest, you apply to be the best business in a category, you apply to do something else, you get seen in the community. Those are relationship builders. Having testimonials and pictures, those are relationship builders. Having a solid, good website that's clean, that is easy to understand and easy to follow, that's a good relationship builder. So what are you doing to build a solid relationship with the people out there who are going to research you? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? Are you on any other platform that your perfect customer's on? Important to keep that in mind. Okay, so far we've got budget, need, timing, relationship, and then we've got the technical things. So what are the technical reasons somebody uses you? Do they use you because you're the only person who has, or the only company, sorry, that has a certain line of product or has expertise to do something? You know, my cousin's got a very fancy house, and the locks inside his house don't work. But there's only one German locksmith who has the rights to the crazy locks that got put on this house before he bought it. He didn't know that, but that locksmith is already booked up. It's a very special type of lock that comes from Germany that only one locksmith in his city knows how to fix and work on. And so that's the technical reason, and obviously the relationship reason, that locksmith would get that kind of business. What is it about you? And more importantly, what does the customer think it is about you? They might think you're too far out of their geographic range to be a contender for their job, but that might not be the case. We got to let them know that. If you do windows and doors and you're 2 highway exits down, I'm thinking of somebody in California now, and they're 3 highway exits up, they might think, oh, they're too far away. They couldn't possibly serve us. You have to let them know that is who you want to serve and that you want to be there. So the very first thing to understand here for this quarterly review is I want you to go back and look at the customers we're serving, because we're here to solve problems for other people. We solve those problems with simple systems, and we get paid for solving those problems, and that's where we get our profit. Please let me remind you, and you probably know this, we're not in business to run a business. We're in business to make a profit. We're in business for personal reasons, like I want to have time flexibility or freedom, or I want to prove something. I want to prove that I can do it. I want to prove that I can take something from zero and make it into something. I want the family legacy of my last name to mean something. That's why we're running a business. Your reason might be a little different than mine. I'm a little crazy, but how are you crazy? Are you here to employ people? Are you here to take care of people? Are you here to take care of your family? Whatever it is, we do that by helping other people solve their problems, and those people are our customers. How do we serve our customers? And that's what I'd like you to think about now. Now, the second part of the quarterly review, because we're in Q3, the third quarter, right? Q1 is January, February, March. Q2 is April, May, June. Q3 is July, August, September. That's where we happen to be right now. But again, it doesn't matter if you're listening to this out of order. The point of the exercise is the exercise itself. The point of doing push-ups is not to be the best push-up person in the world. It's to be a little fitter and a little trimmer and a little more confident in your physique and a little stronger. It's not to do push-ups, right? Push-ups is just a means to the end. Doing a quarterly review is a means to an end. It's who you become. It's the discipline of putting simple systems in place and building your company on purpose instead of randomly. Randomness is what makes you frustrated. It's why you always feel like you're reactive in the business. Being proactive is doing crazy little things like this that I talk about. Doing a quarterly review of the company, leaving, going to get a coffee, facing the corner at the coffee shop, getting your coffee, putting your headset in, just sitting there with a blank piece of paper and a pen and noodling and doodling through it. That's what you got to do. That is, there's so many little secrets to running a business that we don't talk about. And the reason they're secrets is because it's not a course in high school. It's not a course in college. It's not a course in university. You have to go out into the world and do it wrong and then try to find ways to do it right, to find a person like me who can show it to you. That's why there's no simple path. And that's why sometimes you might feel alone. By the way, if you do feel alone, there's really no need. Join the Facebook group. It's called Contractor Strategy Group. It's on Facebook. It's free. The only price of admission is you got to answer 3 simple questions to get in. They're very simple questions. If you can't answer those 3 questions, then we don't think you're smart enough to join. That's the big bottleneck. And so we don't let you in. But if you answer those 3 questions, if you're a business owner, if you have a construction business, and you answer those 3 questions, you can get in. Now, there's nothing that happens on there. It's not, we don't sell anything. We just ask questions. A gentleman in Utah with the first initial T just posed a question there the other day that was about time management and schedule management. Great question. And everybody else chimed in to help. That's what the group is about. So you shouldn't feel like you're alone. And if you do, keep listening to this show and then reach out and join things like the Contractor Strategy Group. Okay. Now, listen, let's go to the 3-year picture. On the next piece of paper, I want you to sketch out what your sales are right now and who your ideal customer is. And what would the world look like if you got more of those customers? What would sales look like? How would things have to change? Do you have the team in place that you want to have in 3 years? Maybe you've got somebody in your company right now that's just a pure cancer. Maybe you've got somebody in your company right now that's just a pure joy. How do you get more of that person? Joy. Let's call her Joy. Let's say you've got somebody working for you and her name is Joy and she's a joy. She's an angel. She's diligent. She works hard. She's detailed. She's got a great attitude. She's positive. And you look at that person and you think, is my company good enough to employ her? And if so, the answer is yes, by the way. And then if so, how do I find more people like Joy? How do I get her cousin Gerald and her niece Geraldine and her brother Joey? How do I hire those people and get more of those people in my company? Now, if you've got somebody in your company who's a dark cloud, their name is Dark Cloud. I don't know. I can't come up with a Dark Cloud name. How do you move them along to go find something else so they're not causing drama in your business? What does that 3-year plan look like? I don't necessarily need you to have a financial projection for 3 years. Just write down, what does my company need to look like in 3 years? Now, you can say, I want my sales to look like this, and I want my profitability to look like that. I want my machinery to look like that. I want my ideal client to look like this. I want to own my building. I want to own a piece of equipment. I don't know. I don't know. But do you know? Oh, sorry, there's an alarm telling me I got to wrap this bad boy up. Anyways, listen, that's the quarterly review. It's an important process. Today we did it very generic because I'm not in front of you. If you want to do something like this, that's much more specific to how you do things, reach out, contact me. My cell phone number, right? I say it here all the time. Text me because it's impossible to reach me, but text me at 604-837-8361 and just say, Dom, let's talk. And then, we'll shoot some text messages back and forth, figure out an email, arrange a time to talk. Our first meeting's 30 minutes, if that. And from there, we'll figure out if we need to have another one. But really, as I started by saying, this business is up to you. I can't remember where the saying came from, but there is an old saying, comes from somebody smart and wise. If it is to be, it's up to me. And so here you are, the leader of your own company. What a great place to be. That comes with rights and it comes with responsibilities. It's your right to make the changes you want to get this company to where you want to go. It's also your responsibility to identify what the changes are. And it's your responsibility to make them happen. There will be lots of people who tell you you can't do it. There will be lots of people who have failed at life and they want you to fail as well so they feel better. There will be lots of people out there who tell you it ain't going to happen. The economy's bad. This market is bad. What you do is wrong. Maybe they'll say that technically you could be better, blah, blah, blah. But all those people are critics. It is easy to be a critic. It is much harder to create. So at the end of this episode, I want you to stand up tall, put your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and be proud of what you've built because you're a big deal. I think you're a big deal. And I'm proud of you. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening to the episode.